How's it going, everybody? Electron Man. Well, I thought I'd get back on this DX-120 realistic shortwave receiver. I've actually been working on it quite a bit. If you can't tell by it's amazing how you get to work on a project. And I had the bench all cleared off, and look at the mess I've created. It's another one of them that kind of got me down in a rabbit hole. I got her all cleaned up, and then I started, kind of testing it, and I thought, well, I'll just pull, one cap out, and actually back up. Okay, so anyway, I got it all cleaned up, and then I put the knobs back on, and I powered it up just to see where I was at, and it did have signal, but it had a few strange things going on. One is it didn't seem to be receiving hardly anything. It very faint at the best, and then I noticed if I turned the volume up, the lights would dim off and on, and it just had some weird things going on. So then I thought I'd reduced it down to one cap, so I pulled that cap out, and it was bad. I mean, way out of tolerance. And anyway, the rabbit hole ends up being I completely have recapped this whole radio now. I don't know if you can see here, but I'm actually here's all the caps that came out of it. You can see that. I don't know. There's what, 8, 10, probably about a dozen. And I've replaced every single one of them but this 2000 microfarad one here. And it probably needs it too, considering every cap in here, as I pulled them, I tested them, and every single one of the caps was out of tolerance. I've never seen anything that far out before. I mean, literally, and I'm not talking like 10. I'm talking some of them were off the infant, and other ones that took forever to test them, and you could tell they were just about open. They were just all over the place. So needless to say, I ended up having to recap the whole thing. And actually, I say I recapped the whole thing. These, I don't know if you can see these or not. These on the back side, there's not any on the front, but there's these polyurethane, I think they call it. It's not. It's polystyrene. Anyway, it's a poly capacitor, and I kind of, when I was pulling all the other caps, I actually got the solder iron against this one here and kind of melted the outside of the plastic shell and thought I'd ruined it. And so I got to researching it, and you can replace them with other ones, but these are known to be really very stable capacitors. But anyway, long story short, I ended up, I had it pulled out and tested it, and it still tested within 1% tolerance. So I went ahead and put it back in there, and I actually pulled all of them off and tested them all. And I don't know, I never actually, I guess this is an old 60s, 70s type capacitor, but I mean, they're 50 years old, and I didn't find any of them that were way out of tolerance. So that's the only caps I didn't replace. They're real high ones too. They're in the 10,000 microfarad, I mean, or 10,000 UF, which would be what, 0.001 picofarad. But anyway, they're way up in capacitance, I guess is the way to put that. But anyway, that kind of want to get you up to date where I'm at. Another thing, this thing just about ended up in the trash earlier today. I was probably about at least halfway, maybe 2/3 done with replacing all the caps in it. And I was soldering on the backside, and my new caps. This is just one of my boxes, but actually I like these kits like this you get. But the all modern capacitors I've ever done, the striped line is your negative, and so when I was pulling them out one by one, I was just going back with the striped line that there was on these old capacitors here. But anyway, I got to solder one of them. I'm like, this is the wrong lead, looking at the circuit board on the back, because I could tell it was going on the ground plane, and I was actually soldering a positive side to it. And anyway, I got to looking at these caps. It's just a lesson learned if you're ever restoring a radio or something. I mean, and maybe other guys have always known this, but anyway, these old caps that came out of this radio, the line is the positive. Every cap I have, all modern caps, the line is a negative, but on these, the line is a positive. So whenever you replace these caps, basically it's total opposite of what the line is on this. So where the line says positive on this side should be the one without the line on all my new capacitors. And so, long story short, I had to go back and rework half of these, pull them out, turn them around, and put them back in right. Thank goodness I had not powered up the radio or anything, because that could have probably got ugly. But anyway, I'm just rambling on here. I'm just trying to get you up to date where I've been on this. I also went on the interwebs and found on Amazon. It took a lot of research to find these. Where's one of the old bulbs at? What did I do with the old bulbs? Did I already lose those bulbs? Come on. See, this is why I don't like a dirty bench. Oh, there they are. Anyway, here's these old bulbs, and these are actually, they're 8-volt. They're used in car lights a lot, like backup lights and stuff, but they're a small, I can't remember the millimeters. Anyway, I ended up having to go a light bulb place, and the numbers on here wouldn't cross-reference anything, so I ended up getting the calipers out and figuring out the size and the amount, and figured out what they are. And I'll put a link down there. You won't have to go to the trouble that I did to cross-reference these, but here I dropped one. But these are actually good, but I managed to find an LED replacement for it so that I didn't have to cut into or rewire the front of it. But yeah, these little, look at that, same type bulb, but it's an LED, and it's actually, I think it's I believe it's two LEDs inside of there. But so I did find those. So I've actually, I don't know if you can see here, I've actually got the LED ones in there now, replace the incandescent ones. And I was worried, in fact, I had a subscriber mention, you know, that LED would be nice, but it'd be too bright. But actually, these, because they're a retrofit, they're not bleeding it out like I was worried they were going to. In fact, they're slightly brighter than the incandescent ones, but I like that. I just didn't want them to be super bright where it kind of washed it out. But I'll turn it on here in a second, and you can see how they look. Check this out. I don't think that's washing it out at all. In fact, when I get the dial on there, I think that's going to look really good. They're a little wider than the incandescents, but I don't think they're a whole lot brighter. And by the way, before I recapped it all, whenever I would turn it on and turn the volume up, the more I turned the volume up, the lights would dim. That just tells you how bad those caps were in there. But anyway, like I said, I just wanted to show you these LED lights as well. But I think I've gotten you pretty much up to speed. I got the new LEDs in there. I've completely recapped the thing. I'm actually right now, I'm in the process of going through and tuning it. Seems like there was something else, another problem. Oh, I think the initial problem with the radio actually is that there's a BFO regular switch over here, or it goes, what is it, BFO on off is what it is. But that BFO on off, it was dirty, and it wasn't making contact on either of them. So, you know, it had a light hum, but it didn't have any reception at all. So obviously I cleaned all of the rheostats in here and all the slide switches with my good old cleaner, and got it all sorted out. But that, I think that's kind of what the first reason that it probably was taken apart and considered dead, is that that switch right there was bad. But then, like I said, it got into a whole weave of then after I got it to where I thought it was working, it wasn't receiving squat, and so then it started. I put one cap, two caps. Next thing I know, I've got the whole thing completely recapped. But anyway, we're now to the point where I'm going to start assembling the radio back. I'll go ahead and I think I'm going to stop here. I'm trying to keep my videos a little shorter, and I've already rambled on long enough about this one. But I'm going to go ahead and start putting the case back together, and then I'll probably do another video showing me do the alignment. Unfortunately, I have the owner's manual or the service manual on this radio. It's been a real help for troubleshooting, that's for sure. But anyway, I'm going to go through the alignment procedure, and really the main one I want to do here is adjust the bands. And basically all I got to do is I just do my signal generator, and they actually want you to they give you 3 different frequencies to trim to, and then what you do is you trim the core on the oscillator side and the antenna stage. And what you're doing is you're looking for the highest deviation. And I won't go. It'd take too long for me to go through each one of these, but I kind of give you a short, you know, roundabout my signal generator and how I'm feeding it in, and then I'll line 1 or 2 for you, so you'll see how it's aligned. And then we'll do a final reveal on it after I get it all aligned. Unfortunately, in the shop I'm in is a metal building, and it's got fluorescent lights in it, and you know, I'm not going to get much receiving here, so I'm going to have to figure out and get me some type of long wire outside so that I can really test her out and and see how good she actually works in the real world environment. But anyway, just wanted to give you an update on the DX-120. Everybody have a great day out there. If you like, please give me a like or thumbs up and subscribe. Have a great day.